All right, welcome to the 61st episode of the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America, Africa, and the diaspora. I am your host, Brother Tamani M. Wandani out of Houston, Texas. I am the direct revolutionary product of one Cardinal Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and the indirect revolutionary product of one Reverend Albert B. Clegg, African title and name, Jeramogi Abebe Ajiman, the father of liberation theology and the founder of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. I am also the founder of the Black Gold Nation movement. My co-host, the chief consultant of the Black Gold Nation's National Political Strategy and Implementation Department and our Adult Education Division, and the chairman of LACE, Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment, the intellectual gangster, corporate grassroots revolutionary, and master domino assassin from Shreveport, Louisiana, aka The Boot, Brother Craig B. Lee. Brother Craig, how you doing this evening?
I am Irie, and I welcome everybody this evening as we prepare for another exciting show.
Amen. So before we get started this evening, please give me a moment to briefly tell you about the Black Gold Nation movement. Our ultimate goal is to put ourselves in a position by which we can own and control the environment by which we, or where we live, because we understand that when we allow other people to control our environment, we lose. When we allow other people to control any aspect, any systems within that environment where we live, when other people control that system, we always find ourselves on the bottom. So it doesn't matter if it's the political system, the agricultural system, the educational system, the spiritual system, any system that we allow other people to control, we always find ourselves on the bottom of that system. And of course, when we allow other people to control the entire space, when other people have the political power, they make the rules and we never come out ahead. So since we no longer want to be on the losing end of anything, and since we no longer want to be on the bottom of anybody's system, what we're trying to do here is bring our people together to find the right people so we can actually build something that matters and move forward. We do not want to continue to lose, so we're trying to identify, organize, connect, and build. Brother Craig and I are not just here to inform or educate. We're trying to get you to do something. We want to inform, educate, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build. Again, every single thing we say and everything we do is about bringing our people together to find the right people so we can build and establish a nation within this nation and other nations around the planet so we can be a connected, unified tribe and nation. Tonight's title of the show is The Evil of Social Engineering and How It's Used to Control Society. The Evil of Social Engineering and how it's used to control society. So tonight we're going to start with an article. Then we have a brief video that I will also show that ties into the entertainment piece. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and then I'm going to read this article, and then we'll come back and discuss it in detail. Hold on, I got some background noise. Give me a second. Go. All right, so let me go back over here, click that, screen share. Boop. All right, so I need 2 people to verify that they can see my screen. Cool, thank you, Brother Naru. One more. I need one other person to verify they can see my screen.
Oh, me?
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so the Universe 25 experiment is one of the most terrifying experiments in the history of science, which, through the behavior of a colony of mice, is an attempt by scientists to explain human societies. The idea of Universe 25 came from the American scientist John Calhoun, who created an ideal world in which hundreds of mice would live and reproduce. More specifically, Calhoun built the so-called paradise of mice, a specially designed space where rodents had abundance of food and water, as well as a large living space. In the beginning, he placed 4 pairs of mice that in a short time began to reproduce, resulting in their population growing rapidly. However, after 315 days, their reproduction began to decrease significantly. When the number of rodents reached 600, a hierarchy was formed between them, and then the so-called wretches appeared. The larger rodents began to attack the group, with the result that many males began to collapse psychologically. As a result, the females did not protect themselves and in turn became aggressive towards their young. As time went on, the females showed more and more aggressive behavior. Isolation elements and lack of reproductive mood. There was a low birth rate and at the same time, an increase in mortality in younger rodents. Then a new class of male rodents appeared, the so-called beautiful mice. They refused to mate with the females or to fight for their space. All they cared about was food and sleep. At one point, beautiful males and isolated females made up the majority of the population. According to Calhoun, the death phase consisted of two stages, the first death and the second death. The former was characterized by the loss of purpose in life beyond mere existence, no desire to mate, raise young, or establish a role within society. As time went on, juvenile mortality reached 100% and reproduction reached 0. Among the endangered mice, homosexuality was observed, and at the same time, cannibalism increased, despite the fact that there was plenty of food. 2 years after the start of the experiment, the last baby of the colony was born. By 1973, he had killed the last mouse in the Universe 25. John Calhoun repeated the same experiment 25 more times, and each time the result was the same. I'm gonna read that again. John Calhoun repeated the same experiment 25 more times, and each time the result was the same. Calhoun's scientific work has been used as a model for interpreting social collapse, and his research serves as a focal point for the study of urban sociology. We are currently witnessing direct parallels in today's society. Weak, feminizing men with little to no skills and no protection instincts, and overly agitated and aggressive females with no maternal instincts. So that is Universe 25, and we're going to get all into it because Lord have mercy, that is a hell of a thing. So the title again to tonight's show is The Evil of Social Engineering and How It's Used to Control Society. So we're going to start with my understanding of what Brother Craig has explained to us over and over again, which is the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism. So, Brother Craig, I have written that the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy racism is a way of thinking by a plutocratic minority that supports their belief in their natural superiority over everyone and everything. And because they believe they are God, they believe their drive for money, power, and dominance is their natural role. Due to the power that they have, they've created a system predicated on illusion, entertainment, and games to exploit and control people's physical and intellectual labor. Am I correct in my analysis and understanding of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy racism?
Yeah, combined together, yes, that would be definitely on point.
Cool. So Universe 25, what does this experiment say about their drive, the architects and creators of the philosophy, system, and game? What does this experiment say about their drive to understand and control human beings?
Well, I mean, just like when I was with Astra Pharmaceuticals, the number one entity that they test drugs on, mice, lab rats, and if you can now manipulate, influence mice or other animals whose nature is set in stone, and they don't have rational thought per se, if you can influence them, manipulate them to change their nature, well, for damn sure you can do that with humans. And so it really hits home as relates to why for years it has been so difficult to, and I learned this, I think I learned to stop being upset at our people about 17 years ago, or I'll just say at many melanated Negroes, not necessarily our people, because although they're African descendants, many of these folks are not actually our people because they have been truly indoctrinated to the point that they won't be able to be saved. But I learned that within this indoctrination, the individuals who now are allowed to believe that they are free, that they are adults, that they are men, that they are women, although they are not, although they physically look like men, women, although they look like they're free, those individuals, rarely would ever be able to get how complex and sadistic and diabolical these people are. And because they have no earthly idea that a group of people would create these types of research methods and case analyses, they just, you bring it up to them, they're, oh, whatever. And so it just shows how they're game tight in terms of how they rock and roll. And so when I stumbled onto their number one weapon that they use, which is the entertainment vehicle, and that's, the various branches of the entertainment vehicle: sports entertainment, television entertainment, movie entertainment, culinary so anything that is a necessity or a want or desire in society, the architects and the engineers of the game create an entertainment brand in order to influence the people, regardless of what it is. Religion, it could be anything. It could be goddamn meditation. They're gonna put an entity in that would be able to influence people the way that they want them to go. Because as plutocracy has taught us, that this is not a government of the people, by the people, for the people. It is a government of corporations, by corporations, and for corporations.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so the fact that this experiment was conducted over 25 times with the exact same result, does that have any significant meaning for us? They did this thing 25 times with the exact same result.
Brother, they are exact in how they maneuver. Now, they know they have 100% batting average with mice.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have 100% batting average with humans. And that's the other thing about discussing these issues with our people, because the number one thing that a person says is, well, I don't. And I'm like, look, man, look. The white folks don't play the absolute game.
Mm-hmm.
They play the percentage game. So if they can get over 50% in statistics, that concludes that the population will roll that way. They know goddamn well they can roll it at easily 90, 95, 97%. Mm-hmm. So even if you're in the 1-2% that's not being, that doesn't fall for the okie doke, maybe it's your genealogy, your genetic makeup, whatever it is. The thing is, your individualism does not stop the avalanche of indoctrination that they put forward. So they do that in terms of the repetitiveness of the experiment to pretty much say, okay, we do this 100% with mice. Mm-hmm. We should be able to get 90, 95% of them.
Yeah. So the fact that this experiment was conducted over 25 times with the exact same result, plus what you just said, that means that the system is not broken, but operating according to plan, correct?
Yeah, and that's whenever I'm in a workshop and I hear people say this stupid foolishness about we got to fix the system is broken. Boy, the system is operating perfect. just the way they wanted. As a matter of fact, when it was not operating at its optimum level, guess who helped them figure it out even more? Our stupid ass. Martin Luther King, the other individuals, because they didn't understand the goddamn game. They didn't. And so that's why when you look at that, one of the last interviews that King gave, he sits up and says, I fear I've integrated my people into a burning building. No shit. I mean, no shit. You're in the indoctrination but I mean, I get it because it takes a special person to not get caught up in this game. And most people will never make it out of this diabolical matrix.
Sure. So the article states that, quote, after 315 days, their reproduction, the reproduction of the mice, began to decrease significantly. When the number of rodents reached 600, a hierarchy was formed between them and the so-called wretches. That's when they started to appear. So
what's the term? And what's the term?
Wretches.
Say it again.
Wretches. WRETCHES. Wretches.
Exactly. So what's the term that I use for these Negroes?
Savages.
Exactly.
So you may have just answered the next question. So who would the wretches be in today's society?
I already knew where you were going.
All right. Okay. All right. Next question. The larger rodents began to attack the group, with the result that many males began to collapse psychologically. That's heavy. Can we see this same psychological collapse in society in general and our communities in particular? And can you give us an example of how we can see that psychological collapse in the general society, but of course, more specifically, our communities? Can you give us some examples of that? Or a example?
I mean, you can start out with the bully in school. That's what the bully in school does. And until you whoop that bully's ass, I mean, you're gonna have to still get that bully your lunch money. The element of power within the mindset of an unconscious person, that's going to morph into a variety of different ways. And it is the byproduct of how a lot of these guys, you take Stanley Tukey Williams, our homeboy, who helped to co-founder of the Crips. I mean, he's a big dude.
Yep.
And it would knock your ass out. And so now what happens? By him being able to fight, they use that in order to do what? Recruit people into the game. Because most people are afraid of taking an ass whooping. And then especially if the ass whooping can get you killed, people basically comply.
Right.
And it's the strangest thing too, because I've always wondered how criminals allow other criminals to like punk them. And it's like, if you know that they're gonna kill you, why not just go ahead and kill that? If y'all are in that game.
If you know it's coming, if you about that life.
Yeah, but that's how paralyzing that fear is. So what you're talking about with the mice, there's a fear factor that develops within those entities. And the bigger entities prey on those others, because where else would they go to exercise their, I don't know if mice or rats have testosterone, but where else would they go to exercise this aggressive element that's inside of them, because they're all bunched together.
Right.
And so the United States created that mechanism when they did the high-rise project.
That's right.
Cabrini Green in Chicago, the projects in New Orleans. So now it's like, oh, we don't want to do that no more. You know that we was wrong for doing that. We're going to do it different now. To put these 20, 30 story high rises together, elevators didn't work, and now you're putting all these impoverished, unconscious individuals together, and now what's gonna happen? Savage is gonna wait on the steps. If
That's
she'll
right.
find chick, people get raped and killed.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can give many goddamn examples of this. Sister Elizabeth is on the phone from Florida today, and we had a good conference call with the co-author of her book the other day, and he is a former GD gangster disciple from Chicago, and I gave him an example of where Larry Hoover rebranded or attempted to rebrand the gangster disciples into growth and development.
Mhm.
And one of his generals was released from prison. This happened a few years ago, and he was dispatched with an agenda to get the young folks to stop doing all the gangster disciple do the growth and development.
Right.
Well, he only lasted on the street for about 2 months.
Yeah.
Before them youngsters killed his ass.
Yeah.
See, so you're not going to redirect that which now those individuals maneuver with.
Mhm.
So they're going to prey on the weak. And that's why I say evil, the only reason that evil flourishes in the world
That's right.
is because good people are punked.
Yeah, they allow it. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Just to go,
So that's a good point that you bring up. This experiment was conducted, started in 1968, and right around the late 60s, early 70s is when you had the high rise projects and the hell, I was literally born into projects in South Carolina, and the first 9 years of my life was spent in the projects. So it's interesting how what life becomes in these high-rise project buildings, in these high-rise project communities, but it's not like the persons that created these entities didn't know what was going to happen. And again, if that doesn't speak to the diabolical nature of those that created the system, I don't know what does. So it's very important that we keep that in mind and understanding that the things that they have done, the things that they continue to do, it's not like they are shooting in the dark because they know what they're doing. And they do it on purpose.
exactly. You know, I mentioned King. Not only was King studying theology when he went up to Boston, he was studying sociology. And I tell people who major in sociology or social work that that's a useless major if you don't also major or study psychology. Because sociology deals with how people maneuver in society. Well, the way that people maneuver in this society is based on what? Their mind.
Right.
Their mind, their influence. So you gotta understand how the mind is indoctrinated, because that's what Dr. Carter G. Woodson said in his book, Miseducation of the Negro. If you can control a person's thinking, good go, Brother Mike. My brother Mike says social psychology and anthropology.
Yep.
And I'll also add in there, Mike, zoology, because you're studying animal behavior. But Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can control a person's thinking, you do not have to worry about his or her action.
That's right.
When you determine what a person shall think, you don't have to concern yourself about what he or she will do. So that whole concept that Dr. Carter G. Woodson wrote was in 1929.
Yeah.
So this particular experiment comes years later, but it validates what Dr. Carter G. Woodson is talking about with mice. And so that's why when I do workshops, I love to, like when I got to go speak at Grambling, State University when I get back from Las Vegas next week. And my good partner, Dr. Kevin Washington, who used to be president over one of the social workers for sociology national group. I remember lecturing at his class in 1996. And one of the first things that I did, and this is 25 years ago, I would do the free test. And I love to ask people, how many of you all are free? Everybody's raising their hand. And so I said, so that means that there's no way that I could make you do something against your will that you didn't want to do. Hell no, nobody can make me woo. I put that free test on their punk ass and I humble their ass in just a few seconds. And now I get their attention and I let them know my job as a marketing professional is to be a psychology person and a sociology person. Because in marketing, we're dealing with consumer behavior as it relates to the purchase of goods and services. So in order to deal with consumer behavior, you're dealing with what? Human behavior, which is what? The mind.
Right.
And the conditioning from childhood on up. And this is the reality of what we're dealing with. And these people really believe that they're making these decisions because they want to. And that's the trick of marketing, to allow your punk ass to believe you're making decisions on your own, but you're being influenced. That's why they put Shaquille O'Neal on these goddamn commercials and Michael Jordan on these goddamn commercials. You think this is a game? Hell, you say, damn, they paying them $50 million. Yeah, that's a pitch, man, for them to make millions.
Right. Right. And it's also, it's very important that we understand and realize, and this was clearly pointed out when we did the movie review of Waiting for Superman, because
right.
You know, we tend to think that this is a quote unquote education system, but it's an indoctrination system. And they are not going to put anything in your mind that's going to allow you to push back on the system, because that threatens their power. And
goddamn Lulu. I put a clip up today of what's our dude name? Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Kiyosaki.
Yeah, Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki says, in no public school will you find something being taught, and that something is about money. They're not going to teach you the basics of money.
Sir. Yes, sir.
They're not going to teach you the basics of real estate. They're not going to teach you the basics of entrepreneurship, because they want you to assume a position of what? Employee.
Right.
And they want you to assume a position of a pauper, because that's the game. And for those people who don't understand the game, the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism is predicated, determined by a permanent
underclass.
Flag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Means you must be kept stupid, and the ones who believe that they're smart, because I got 14 goddamn degrees and I live in, you're more stupid than the goddamn people who are unplugging, because they use you to help sell this goddamn dream.
That's right. You're a tool, don't even realize it.
And you don't.
So back to the article, it says, quote, as a result, the females did not protect themselves and in turn became aggressive towards their young. As time went on, the females showed more and more aggressive behavior, isolation elements, and lack of reproductive mood, end quote. So Brother Craig, I don't know of any parallels in society where that is happening. Do you know of any whereby females are beginning to show more aggression toward their own? Because I couldn't come across any kind of research.
You must not do case analysis.
That's why I got you. Give it to me.
Man, brother, I have over I stopped hell at 200. That's how I started doing my workshops, targeting females, because females started to kill their own children, trying to get back at
the man. Jesus
man.
Christ.
I mean, it's just the most retarded ass.
Wow.
I remember this one case where the female found out that the father of her 3 children also had 3 other children. So what does she do? She loads her 4 children up in the van and drives into Hudson Bay. Some kind of way, the oldest one, who was not that guy's child, one report said he was able to get out of the vehicle and swim to shore. Another report said that she let him out. But she was determined to kill the goddamn children to get back at the damn dude. Just the other day in Atlanta, this so-called power couple, 8 goddamn children. And they moved from St. Louis to Atlanta. I'm gonna send you the article.
Okay.
And she did a Facebook Live before she went and did this dastardly deed, but she found out that the dude was with another chick. She went and killed him and then killed her goddamn self, leaving 8 damn children to fend for themselves. So, no, there are a lot of parallels. And that's how I started really getting into doing the workshops with females, because what I learned about most African-American females, they're so indoctrinated to believing that everything revolves around them, and not understanding that the nature of a male and man is different than the nature of a female woman. This has been insidiously interwoven into the African-American female's mind, that the only goddamn thing that matters is her damn crazy ass feelings, which is why you'll hear females say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Yeah. I remember when my first wife said that crazy ass foolishness, I sat her down quickly. I said, use a goddamn lie. I said, because what you're telling me is my thoughts, my feelings, my perspectives don't matter.
Don't matter.
now your first husband may have allowed you to get away with that. These simple ass dudes may allow you to get away with that, but that won't happen here.
Right.
Your ass is going to, look, my gun, mama would shut the whole house. Exactly. But I don't play that. I don't play that. And so we're going to be equitable, and we're going to be just towards each other. And so, yes, there are parallels to what they experimented with, because you can see it, the competition. So you see mothers and daughters fighting each other.
Right. Okay.
Mothers and daughters having sex with the same dude. I mean, it's just crazy. There was just a few weeks ago, a girl is 16, married this dude that's 40-something years old.
I did. No, he was 50 plus, and that wasn't that her stepfather?
He's 61. Yeah, bruh.
Gee, so you know what he had to be thinking about that child for a very long time.
Oh yes, sir. Yes,
Jesus
sir.
Christ, that's sick, man.
And then when you see the damn retarded ass mama do the interview, you see where the damn daughter gets it from. So hell yeah, it's a whole bunch of goddamn parallels.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, next question. The article goes on to state, quote, then a new class of male rodents appeared, the so-called beautiful mice. They refused to mate with the females or to fight for their space. All they cared about was food and sleep. At one point, beautiful males and isolated females made up the majority of the population. This is a hot button question. Hot button question here. Do you think, Brother Craig, this part of the experiment serves as some proof that homosexuality is a result of the conditions forced upon grassroots people? Males no longer want to fight, no longer want to be a part of something that's actually going to work if it requires you to have some physical skin in the game. and some of them choose to be opposite of what they were born. So the question is, do you think that the social ramifications of poverty, if you will, create in people the desire to be opposite of what they were born to be because they don't want to physically get involved and or fight back, like the mice?
So the only correction is the term choose.
Okay.
They're not choosing, they're making predetermined selections.
Okay.
Because again, in order to make a choice, you have to have control of your mind, because a choice deals with the intellectual exercise of thinking. And the majority of the people don't know how to think, and they damn sure don't know how to critically think.
Okay.
And we've gone over a revolutionary code episode with that. So that's the first thing. So these predetermined selections, yes, absolutely. This is what's going on. As a matter of fact, my good partner here in Shreveport, he's one of my good partners. He's raising a son.
Mm-hmm.
Son is straight homo. And yesterday we were at a meeting and he was saying how there's nothing he can do with him. He tatted up. Now he's still staying in his house now.
Uh-huh.
And we just gotta let them do what they do. And so this lady was like, but wait a minute, you raised him. Like, how does that work? Because, I showed you what happened with me and my stepson.
Right.
When he wanted to buck, I gave him 5 chances. After the 5th one, you got to go back to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And now when he got back to his mom, who made him soft in the first place, she now finally got, although it took us divorcing for her to get this, she finally got that she needed to change up the parenting with him and be consistent with what I had already laid out in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's working on some things with him. But yeah, this is where it's at. And you put these thoughts out there again through what? Entertainment vehicles.
Yes, sir.
And so now you put those thoughts, because sex is a natural thing. So now you put those thoughts of homosexuality out there, and now you already know what's going on out there in California where Nauru is at. Hell, they got goddamn curriculum for elementary children dealing with homosexuality. But now what's crazy about that? African American history is not mandated, but they want to mandate homosexuality for children when they already know that the brain
Not even develop.
doesn't finish developing until in their goddamn late 20s.
Yeah, and a child is so not thinking about sex.
This game, and the dumbass Negroes, they sit up and say, oh, we got to love everybody. We just, it's harmless, whoop de whoop. So this micro group, because they control a large segment of media, is able to act as if they are a film projector, or where not a film projector, but a
production company
deal, where you put a small item on it. What is that called? A film projector, and it makes the image seem larger.
Like a magnifier?
No, it was a device
that we used to use in school. Oh, an overhead projector.
Overhead projector.
Hey, you dating yourself.
Put a quarter on it,
right?
And it would make it seem like the quarter was big.
Right.
That's the game plan for the advocates of homosexuality. They're a small group, but because they control a large segment of the media, they can project themselves as this big thing, and so people don't want to get shamed. But hell, I just saw a lecture that I did at Southern University here, and it was a Black History lecture. And this one white chick was in the class and she said, well, I need to know your perspectives on homosexuality. I said, what do you want to know? Well, she said, what about us? I was like, what about you? and I said, look, let me make this real simple. I'm gonna ask you this question. Can two males procreate?
No.
She said no. I said, can two females procreate? She said no. I said, so what are we talking about?
Right.
I say the mere advocacy of homosexuality invalidates your existence.
Right.
And so she looked a little puzzled. And so I'm gonna say it again. The mere advocacy of homosexuality invalidates your existence. And she still was puzzled. I say, look, here's what I'm saying. Neither you nor any homosexual who promotes homosexuality came here by way of homosexuality.
That's right.
Exactly, Sister Cher. They're quiet on homosexuality because a lot of them are part of that process. But I said, neither you nor any homosexual got here by way of homosexual activity. So we can just use logic. We don't have to get into religiosity. Let's just use logic and nature. If something is intended to exist in nature, the Creator has made it where what? You have a way to extend your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a roach, a rat,
Yeah.
If homosexuality is natural, why can't two males procreate?
Right.
Why can't two females procreate? Because it is unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
So now, how do they increase their number? They must co-opt and corrupt the minds of people who are heterosexuals in order to now come into the fold. So as it relates to the beautiful mice or the beautiful woman,
yeah,
is a direct parallel to that reality because, hey, if you put homosexual males on an island for 50 years or 100 years, they would all be dead.
Right.
Same with females. Same with females. Because you would not be able to exist.
Procreate. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So my take on that part of the experiment was the beautiful mice. They didn't want to engage themselves in the society. They didn't want the natural roles of being a male. They didn't want to fight. They didn't want to protect. They wanted to be something else. So I am thinking that was a result of everything that was happening in the experiment, with the overcrowding, with the aggression, with the wretches, and they made the predetermined selection, to be something, to be the opposite of what they were naturally born to be. Now the question is, can a mice make predetermined selection? Can a mouse make predetermined selection?
That was the whole point of the experiment. To show that if they can alter an animal who doesn't have rational thought, if they can do that with that entity, if they can do that with a goddamn lion, if they can do that with a dog, you know damn well they can do it with a human.
That's right. That's right. Okay. All right. So you're listening to if you missed the beginning of the show, you're listening to the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America, Africa, and the diaspora. Tonight's show title is our 61st episode. Tonight's show is our 61st episode. And the title is The Evil of Social Engineering and How It's Used to Control Society. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I'm the founder of the Black Gold Nation Movement. My co-host is Brother Craig B. Lee, who is our chief consultant for the development of our political strategy and implementation department, as well as our adult education division. So back to the article. Quote, according to Calhoun, the death phase consisted of two stages, the first death and the second death. The former was characterized by the loss of purpose in life beyond mere existence, no desire to mate, raise young, or establish a role within society. So, Brother Craig, can you see this behavior? Can you see this particular behavior? No desire to mate, no desire to raise young or establish a role within society. Can you see this behavior in today's society or in our communities? And if you can see it, how or where do you see it?
You have females left and right opting to not have children. You have females and males left and right that would be more focused on having pets than children.
Right.
Although you have a large contingent of people, individuals who are in foster care systems.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand
and so, well, it's because of control. It's because of control. See, a child at some point will leave the house if they're raised properly. They'll leave the house. The damn pet will always be dependent upon you. This is how crazy this thing is. So everything that white folks do, we end up mimicking. So yes, you will definitely see. Oh yeah, and you're absolutely correct, Sister Shin. Some of these people are having sexual relations with their animals.
For sure.
I mean, this is real.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is absolutely real, and so yes, I mean, I call it self-selective genocide. I think that's the term that I came up with, where now the pursuit of money, status, and materialism overrides the pursuit of life extension. It's absolutely crazy. But again, when you can now when you have the power, if we go back to the definition of power that I love, the ability to control reality, to create reality, and have others respond to your definition as if it were their own. So if I can now create reality around the pursuit of money, status, and materialism, and just traveling and eating out at goddamn restaurants, why the hell do I want to disrupt my goddamn life with some damn children? I'm cool. I'm Gucci. Now, I know that you have to really play a serious mind game with yourself to get to that level as a female, because I've talked to a lot of females about that. But some of them are willing to do that. And even if they've gone through the process once, a lot of them are not willing to go through that multiple times.
What process we talking about?
Having children.
Okay.
You know, the process that you're referencing in terms of the analysis in this particular case. So yeah, that self-selective genocide is a real situation, because now, I mean, children cost money. The time that it takes to feed, cook meals, the whole nine. So basically, people just self-select to do genocide upon themselves.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a diabolical deal, but really it's a predetermined selection. They've been altered into making that unconscious decision, and that's really where it's at.
When Sister Cher, I'll put it in the chat, Brother Naru. When Sister Cher posted about bestiality, these people having sex with their animals, and then with their pets, and then when you said everything that white people do, we end up trying to emulate. I scroll back to a few episodes. I think it was episode maybe 52 or 53, where we describe those that run this country. And we came up with a critical thinking, paranoid, psychotic, schizophrenic, serial killing, and mass murdering monster. So that is the producer of the philosophy, system, and game, and they are running the world. that's a scary reality, man. And like you just said, whatever they do, we are trying to be just like them. So wow. Okay. Next question.
Because they are the controllers of the image of reality.
For sure. All right. So next question. Among the endangered, from the article, quote, among the endangered mice, homosexuality was observed, and at the same time, cannibalism increased despite the fact that there was plenty of food. So could this cannibalism increase, Brother Craig? Could this be the equivalent of the melanated Negro savage in that they prey upon, they cannibalize their own people? Of course, not in the literal sense, but they are most certainly preying upon their own people.
Exactly. I mean, because again, these super rats, super mice have to find some way of acting out their aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And who else is going to act it out on? They're confined to a space.
The weak ones, misplaced aggression, the ones that can prey on.
Exactly.
Okay, our next question. Quote, Calhoun's scientific work has been used as a model for interpreting social collapse. And his research serves as a focal point for the study of urban sociology. So what they do on purpose. Now, Brother Craig, how important is it that we understand concretely that what they do on purpose? How important is it that we understand that?
It's very important, man. So you can really understand the depths of these folks' thought. But I can tell you, read the first part again, and I'm gonna show you the game that they played in the first part. And read that back.
The quote I just read?
Read the first part of it.
Calhoun's scientific work has been used as a model for interpreting social collapse.
So stop right there. So they want you to believe it's been used as a model to interpret social collapse. No. It's been used as a model to create social collapse.
That's right.
And then what do? They then interpret or analyze the data to analyze what? Sister Cheryl, Brother Naru, outcome. See, they create the social collapse and then analyze the data. So they want you to believe that it's strictly about analysis of social collapse. Well, how does society collapse? I mean, how does that happen? It is engineered by the architects, engineers, and managers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy racism. That's why I had us to look at the 5 episodes of what? Plutocracy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the only way that you can change that, only way you can shift the paradigm, only way you can move the unconscious mind to consciousness is through the acquisition of the 6 pillars of empowerment.
Okay, all right. We're gonna get the solutions in a second, so don't jump ahead. We're gonna get there. We got 3 or 4 more questions. All right, next question from the article. Quote: we are currently witnessing direct. Well, I'm gonna read this quote and then I'm gonna show a brief video and then I'll come back with the question. So the quote from the article is, oh, and Brother Naru, I put the article in the chat. So anyone who wants to read the article, it's in the chat. So the quote is quote, we are currently witnessing direct parallels in today's society. Weak, feminized men with little to no skills and no protection instincts, and overly agitated and aggressive females with no maternal instincts. So that is the quote. Now I'm going to show a brief video that Brother Craig sent me. I think he sent it today. Yeah, it was today. And it's like it's on like a minute, and then we'll come back and talk about it really quickly. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Is consistently ranked as one of the top MCs and lyricists of all time.
The whole game and trick is that they could get time on their side and get a couple of generations who are really combative about it to get old and pass on and trick the new generations and throw toys at them to hold them off. And one of the biggest crimes is the MTV networks and the Booty and Thug network of BET that's hijacked hip hop and rap music. And their whole games is to extend teenage years to 35. This has been the principle since 1990. Let's turn teenagers from 17 to 35. And when they wake up out of the fog at 36 years old, they feel that, you know, with 3 or 4 kids, they're paralyzed to move left or right. And so they got to go with the flow.
Historical facts show some things were created by racists centuries ago to redefine black people. And a lot of it, as they say in marketing, has been sticky. Meanwhile, other things that have purposely been created to redefine blacks positively don't stick. But why?
One of the greatest propaganda campaigns of all time was the masterful marketing of the myth of black inferiority to justify slavery within a democracy. Ingenious. Tom Burrell, marketing veteran.
All right. So that's the video. And I'm gonna go back to this quote and then I'm gonna ask Brother Craig the question. So the quote is, we are currently witnessing direct parallels in today's society. Weak, feminized men with little to no skills and no protection instincts, and overly agitated and aggressive females with no maternal instincts. And you've already touched on this a few times, Brother Craig, but I'm gonna ask it now specifically. What role does entertainment play in this statement? Given that video, given what you were saying earlier, what role does entertainment play in all of this?
First, correction on the term men.
Okay.
So weak, feminized male.
Males. Okay.
They got.
That's a quote from the article, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They got the female part right, but they said men.
Right.
So just correction on that term. Again, that's the number one weapon. That's the number one weapon. The entertainment industry is the number one weapon that is used to accomplish that. And if you look at that quote from Martin Burrell, look at what I just got through telling you. Being a marketing professional, we are actually psychologists, sociologists, and you manipulate the human mind into purchasing goods and services that you want them to purchase to benefit your corporation. And so entertainment is the number one vehicle. And so when we look at this and we say, oh, well, I don't watch TV, Craig. I don't watch sports. I go to church. They got religious entertainment.
Right.
If you like cooking shows, they got culinary entertainment. You got Paula Deen for the white folks, Chef Prudhomme for the white folks, and they throw you what? Sweetie pies for the Negro. Okay? So they're gonna co-opt.
They got all the bases covered.
Home shopping network, entertainment, news, entertainment.
Right.
So look at it. Don Lemon, CNN, homosexual.
Yep.
Entertainment. You look at what's the other one? Anderson Cooper, homosexual, entertainment, but it's news entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mean that they don't have skills, but I'm just showing you how they are positioning individuals where you now gain a liking to them. Right. So now what type of politics is that called?
Don't tell me. It is identity politics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you identify with those entities, and now your reservations about homosexuality now
comes down, right? Yeah.
I mean, bro, this is, bro, when I tell you this is clever, okay, I'm talking about clever.
Ingenious.
Mike Gunn says Don Lemon has a pouty mouth.
Pretty much.
But look at it. Look at it, Mike. When he first started, go back and look at Don Lemon. He was a straight-laced news person. They've allowed him to go into the realm of Negroism, because he has two objectives: to now sell the LGBT homosexuality piece, but to also capture, gone girl, yeah. So now they're letting him have more flexibility with his verbiage.
Wow.
And so it's how they can spin and weave these particular things.
Yeah.
So sport, entertainment, movie entertainment, television entertainment, culinary entertainment, religious, whatever branch, they're going to find it, brother.
Yeah.
They even have science entertainment. That's what.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, when you said that about Neil deGrasse Tyson, and once you said it, I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Ain't no joke with this, man.
Yeah.
Literary entertainment.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So next question, and it's a simple one. Is Universe 25, is this experiment proof that the Matrix exists?
Hell yeah.
All right, you've already alluded to this one, but
They so gangster with that. They're gonna show you the Matrix and get you to believe it's just entertainment, because the people don't know what entertainment means. When people hear the word entertainment, since they've never researched the term, they believe that the term entertainment means harmless, fun.
Right.
But the word entertainment deals with entering the mind to distract one from the focus at that time. Enter to distract. Enter to distract. So since we're in a multidimensional reality, what's the opposite of entertainment? We have to entertain.
Right.
We want to enter the mind, and instead of distract, we want to maintain your focus so that we can enlighten you. I made a post today on Facebook about a cartoon that I grew up seeing, and it was so cleverly done. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, now it's off to the White House. How I sit in and wait. They're educating you about a very complex process with a goddamn 3-minute cartoon.
Yeah. And it worked.
And it, bro. You won't see those cartoons
anymore. You sure don't. That's for sure. Yeah.
And so that's edutainment. And what has happened with a lot of our people who gain some insight into the diabolical nature of this, we become so stringent, we don't understand we have to have flexibility in order to reach these people who are just indoctrinated full blast with entertainment. So you got to create entertainment in order to now get their minds. That's why I show you the videos of Toby and Wickway. That's why I show you the videos of Ciroc. You know, those entities like what Nauru is trying to do, where you bring hip hop and you flip it.
I got you.
That's entertainment. What Public Enemy was doing, edutainment.
Right.
They were edutainers, not entertainers.
For sure. All right. So last two questions. The title of tonight's show: The Evil of Social Engineering and How It's Used to Control Society. So the next question, Brother Craig, is the answer in the overall solution to the evil of social engineering would be what? Give me that answer.
Number one is going to be the 6 pillars of empowerment.
Yes, sir.
The only way that you're going to change, do a paradigm shift with an individual will be through those 6 pillars: spirituality, organic right culture, education, economics, socioeconomics, politics. And the most important of the 6 are the first 2, spirituality, and
Organic right culture.
organic right culture.
Yep.
Organic for us, and we set the tone to make it right for the world, because the world is out of balance because we are
Out of
out of
balance.
balance.
For sure.
And the most important entity, and this is why our project has resonated throughout the world, Dads on Duty, the most important entity in that process is who? The African descendant male man.
Yes, sir.
Standing up to now erect his square, standing erect on the square so that he can now fulfill his duty as father to not only his biological children, but to the children of the village. And that's what we have to be able to do. So that's the solution. Spirituality, culture, education, economics, socioeconomics, and politics, that infrastructure has to be interwoven individually in order for it to be interwoven collectively so that we can now empower ourselves, meaning we can control our own destiny. Because again, you're not going to change the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy directly. That must be left up to the good white folks who are out there. And there's some decent white folks who are out there. John Brown is a great example.
The epitome of an example. Gangster.
That's why I would never get tricked by European descendants. Because, partner, I'm going to look at your resume, your references, and receipts. And if they ain't nothing like John Brown, no, partner, I know you guys like.
That's right. That's right.
But we can control what we can control through those 6 pillars of empowerment. And that's the only problem that we directly have. And white supremacy, racism is the other problem that we indirectly have.
All right, last question. You only get one takeaway that everyone who's seeing the show right now live and those who watch the recording, you only get one takeaway for them to take with them for the rest of their lives from tonight's show. So what would that one takeaway be, Brother Craig?
Social engineering is real. And you better start studying it. You better start understanding how the mind and the brain work. The mind is the human software, human computer software, and the brain is the human computer hardware. And you better learn how they impact both, through foods, through drugs, through,
yes, sir.
All types of things. They gangster with it. And so you need to take these things seriously so that we can truly learn to navigate so we can help our people grow and move.
All right. Well, amen, amen. We're only 8 minutes over, not too bad. All right. So on that note, that's my last question for Brother Craig. We're going to open this thing up for questions and answers. Brother Naru has turned his camera on. And we're going to start with our brother. Question for Brother Craig, Brother Naru?
Yeah, I just want to, first of all, thank you. This was such a deep topic, and I know you can go way deeper than this. There's been a lot of social engineering attacks throughout history, but for this specific one, I want to say, do you feel like this Universe 25 experiment is being used on humans for population control?
That definitely is a part of it, because that gets into the eugenics aspect of it. So the answer to that is absolutely yes.
That's all I got tonight.
All right. Does anybody else have a question or comment for Brother Craig before we close this thing out? Any questions or comments going once? Any questions or comments going twice? Sister Cher?
Yes, I put in I don't know if y'all could do a part 2, but they don't talk about the regrets these people have later on in their life when they take on this lifestyle. let alone a suicide rate, the domestic violence and killing in this community, in these communities, within their communities, because a lot of time it's not outside people who are killing them. It's people
Yeah.
who they've either tricked, or it's people within a community who are taking their lives. So a year, about 3 years ago, I watched a documentary on RTTV, and it's a good show to watch, or a TV station to watch if y'all have it on your cable. And it talked about I Want My Sex Back. And it was talking about transgender people who regretted having like the change. They had one man on there, and I'm calling him a man. He had his sex change. He tells in a story how he had over 20 of his friends who committed suicide, and he think about committing suicide every day. So they don't shed light on that. And RT also doubled down this year and start talking about the psychology of people who are of LGBT, that they don't discuss. They were probably molested when they were younger. They had a certain childhood that they felt like they weren't accepted. So they decided to be part of the LGBT community just to be accepted. So that's another part of especially at RTTV did. And they also said some mental issues going on with these people having that they don't deal with. And the doctors just push drugs on them or just write orders just for them to have a sex change. So one young lady, she was shedding light on that, but I'll try to find that link and send it to Brother Craig if y'all want to do a part 2 or part 3, but I think they leave that out.
Yeah, and you know, the other part of that too, Cher, that goes hand in hand with that is the almost, I guess you would call it the sexual sport. They turn sex into a sport, something that's so casual, and so you now engage in homosexuality like, you know, this is just, you know, nothing. And the unfortunate thing, because these people lack spirituality, and when they engage in this illicit behavior, they don't know how this now alters your entire being. And so this is a plaything. You know, this is supposed to be some fun thing to do. You know, I'm going to experiment with this, not knowing of the ramifications. And again, by not having spirituality and organic right culture, your mind is open to an infinite possibility.
To whatever. You down for whatever.
You're down. When they say down for whatever, they for real mean.
Wow.
You know, but you have to always remember that you are not just you.
Yes, sir.
You are the sum total of all of your ancestors and the manifestation of the Creator.
Yeah.
And it's so gangster how they got people believing that it's just you, and it ain't never just you. You come into this world that people say, I come into this world by myself, I'm gonna leave by myself. No.
Right.
You come into this world as a byproduct of gazillions of people. And, you know, I always ask the question, starting with your life date. Sister Cher, your life date was just the other day, right? November the 10th? Or 9th? Okay. So on your life date, November the 9th, 19 what? Or 20? 19 what?
81.
All right, 1981. November the 9th, 1980 goddamn 1. Which how old are you now? That makes you 30?
40.
Yeah, 23 really.
Ask her again to be 21.
I don't make y'all do the math.
So Sister Cher now is 40, So November 9th, 1981. Sister Cher, if you go back 10 generations, 200 years, how many people had to come together on your maternal side and your paternal side to bring you into existence on November 9th, 1981? That means we're going back to 1781. So 1781, how many people from 1781 all the way up to November 9th, 1981 had to come together approximately? You ain't got to give me the exact number, but approximately how many had to come together to bring you into existence?
Back what? Oh, wow. That's 1,000. That's 1,000. 2,000?
Okay, good go. It's
God.
Yeah. 2001, 46, I think. 2001, 2002, 46, or something like 2002, 46. It's 100. It's an equal number. 1,123 on your maternal side, 1,023 on your paternal side. See, because if your father never comes into existence, he can never impregnate your mother. If she never comes into existence, she can never receive sperm from your dad. So when you now start to think about this, and 10 generations means your 8th great grandparent, and then now if you take that on back to 400 years, Sister Cher, you can do the math. I'll send you the calculations. You go back 400 years, it took over 2 million people coming together to bring you into existence on November 9th, 1981. Now, I mean, just think about that for a goddamn second. So when people say this stupid foolishness, oh yeah, I ain't African, I'm Cherokee, my grandma. Bro, you don't know a goddamn thing.
And you know that and that's a good point, Brother Craig, because I didn't think about this until you said it. But everybody is born with a purpose, and you don't know if your purpose is not supposed to be bringing somebody else into being. But if you are engaged in activity that disallows you to reproduce, who knows what you're cutting short? Who knows what you're stopping? Because your purpose could be to help usher in another generation of whomever. And that's most certainly a different way of looking at it. So yeah, I can most certainly see that. All right.
But you're not alone. You didn't come here alone. And when you leave, you're not going to be alone.
That's right.
Because you're the sum total of all of the ancestors that brought you into existence and the creator on your life day. And that is the trick, another trick that they roll with in terms of social engineering to make you believe you're just this goddamn individual out here flying like a goddamn kite. And it's not just you. You actually have some anchor. But because you don't know it, because you're not tapped into your spirituality and your organic right culture, this is how they get you.
Right. Okay, I think that was the last one, but let me check to make sure. Does anybody else have a question or comment for Brother Craig before we close it out? Any other questions or comments? Chair?
Did y'all do on what just happened here in Houston?
No.
The concert?
Yeah, the concert. No, we didn't reference it.
Okay.
That might be something we rock and roll. The big concert, Tamani, in Houston, where
I know what she's talking about. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, the media has already started lying. That's why I just wanted to bring that up. But I just read an article about a nurse who was there, and she said it was, well, a lot of people on Instagram, including her, it was like they was in hell. They were passing out, they were fainting, they were hot, and it's crazy because a cool front had came that same day. So what they're saying, it was some like satanic ritual. Even if you look at the symbolism of the concert, his Travis Scott shirt, where the people are entering, walking in Norman and walking out with devil horns. It's on his shirt. So, and it's not 8 people that died. They claim like the 9th person just died, is brain dead. But from what I was hearing, it was probably over more than 8 people, maybe 50 or 100.
Damn.
But
So-
I'll send it to y'all, what the
All right.
nurse said, what happened.
So share what would that title or angle be if we did a show on that? What do you think it could be?
Well, I think it's going back to what Brother Craig stated and what you all talk about. We got to know spirituality. I mean,
Okay.
nothing's wrong with religion, but
Sure.
like
Yeah.
that portal, I mean, we got to look at symbolism. What do this mean? Why are we going through a portal?
Mm.
Why are people just fainting and having seizures? And I saw something that they do. I don't know if y'all know about this at concerts, where they start sending like specific electrical impulses that when it hits you, it can literally make you slake or fall out. But if you stand there and just let it hit you, your body will jerk, you'll want to run away from it. So like the 9-year-old little boy that was John Doe in the hospital, that's what happened to his father. Now I know he wasn't on no drugs. He said he told the people next to him that he was feeling weird, like he was gonna pass out. Well, he passed out. When he came to, he couldn't find his 9-year-old son, and then come to find out, I guess the son was trampled on or something, because he's right now in the ICU, in the coma. So, but the media, I just want to bring that up, not to hold you out. The media is already lying, backtracking things, because they said people were getting stabbed, felt like they was getting stabbed with needles. Now the security guard recanted his story, saying he wasn't stabbed, and the media is saying it. But if you look at people Instagram stories, even the article I just read about the nurse, something's not adding up. So we just need to educate to our young people and let them know when they go to these events,
Yeah.
how these things can happen. You know, just like at Marilyn Manson concerts, right? All these, the megahertz with the music.
Mm-hmm.
So titling it, I would say maybe spirituality and understanding, you know, music, how music can transform you and put you in some type of trance and you don't even know.
Yeah, and we did do a
I'm
show.
thinking, I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, and I thank you for bringing it up, because that's most certainly something that we need to be aware of and talk about. And we've actually done a show on how entertainment is used to control the minds of the youth. And Brother Craig, you remember the name of the rapper that we did a show on? Lil Nas X. So what you're saying, Sister Cher, is right on point. So yeah, I think that could be a show that we do, because that is real. How these things are used, and Lord have mercy, if they're doing some sort of satanic rituals or whatever, then we most certainly need to be aware of it and talk about it. So yeah, I thank you for that. It's a very good idea. Okay, Brother
Well, I'll
Craig.
send y'all that article from the nurse and maybe some of the pictures.
Okay, cool. All right, Brother Craig, closing comments?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for attending again, and look for us tomorrow on your local news stations or national news stations. Will Smith again will be taking the students from Southwood High School, treating them to a world premiere of his upcoming film, King Richard, which is featuring the life of Richard Williams, and he's playing Mr. Williams, who is from Shreveport, Louisiana. So be looking for us on that. And I just want to thank you guys for participating tonight. Hope you learned something.
Cool. Amen. Always remember 2 things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the empowerment, freedom, liberation, salvation of Black people. Because if our people don't make it, then none of us are going to make it, because we are connected to our people. So with that, thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you. Share the video with as many Black people as possible, and we'll see you next Thursday for the next show. Y'all have a good one. God bless. Thank you.